Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Texas Motor Speedway. We are here for the third race of the season in the 2022 Haas IndyCar Series. This is the Fort Worth 125K. They've been running 52 laps around this 1.5 mile speedway in Fort Worth, Texas. This is the old version of the Texas Motor Speedway, so you know it's going to be a better race than what we're going to have in real life this weekend. But hey, that's why we're doing it. We're going to have a good one here with these 26 drivers for 52 laps. So each driver gets 2 laps if you do the math correctly there. I just thought of that. Joined alongside Andrew Miller for this race here today. Micah could not make it for this week. But Andrew, you've been in these Indy cars before. You know this is a very tough racetrack. It's a very fast racetrack. What does it take to win here at the Texas Motor Speedway with these high speeds, the same speeds that we get at Indianapolis and other super speedways?
It's just a balancing act. Trying to find the right combination of trimming it out to get as much speed as possible. But Texas is not the smoothest track, so handling is going to play a big part in it. So as long as you can find that balance between the two, then you'll be in pretty good shape. If you go too far one way or the other, that could put you in a hole. So whoever's able to master that combination the best should be in pretty good shape here.
Yeah, absolutely, and of course, we found this out in the I&I at Auto Club. You reduce the grip just a little bit, you get a pretty good race. That's what we did here at Texas. I don't think it's going to be quite like Auto Club where they're really sliding up the racetrack, but we're not going to be seeing that cycle race that we used to see. They'll still generally be in a pack, but passing's not going to be automatic like it used to be here at the Texas Motor Speedway. So we should be in store for a great race here today in this Fort Worth 125K. Race 1 drivers had a great season so far as Zachary Fitzwater won the first race of the season 3 weeks ago at the Auto Club Speedway. He comes in with a 5-point lead on Jay Knapp. Of course, Jay Knapp's also had a good run this season. He, along with Thomas Troxel, the only 2 drivers who have finished top 5 in both races this season. Brandon Nelson, though, has won 2 poles in a row, so he's only 11 points behind, even though it does suggest otherwise there on the screen. He does win the bonus point for winning the pole here at Texas, so he has 65 total points, 11 points behind. Troxel is 13 points behind. Trey Smith, 17 points behind. Trey Smith won the last race over at Riverside 2 weeks ago. But like I mentioned, it's Brandon Nelson starting on the pole position here for tonight's event. And Richard Kingart starting on the outside pole alongside him. They were the 2 fastest drivers in the Fast 6 shootout yesterday. Behind them, it is the 2019 champion Justice Idell alongside Angel Olvera there in row number 2. You have Nathan Faden alongside Thomas Troxel in row number 3. It's Eric Monaco, Cole Raymond making up row number 4, Landon Smith Jr. and Zach Winkle, Ace Garcia and Ethan Lewis. Auto Club winner Zachary Fitzwater, the inside of Elijah Gordon. You got Scott Upton and Mr. Edge himself, Nicholas Samadillo, Noah Clifton, Jesse Turner, Brian Rodriguez, Caleb Rose, Brock Nelson, Jay Knapp, Trey Smith, our last winner, and Reggie Fogelman. Then you got Chris Reynolds and Logan Williams in the last row. No pit stops in this race, by the way, because this version of the Texas Motor Speedway does not like it when these cars try to make live green flag pit stops. Andrew, 26 car field. Who do you think is going to go to victory lane here in the Fort Worth 125K?
I'm going to be putting my money on either of these guys in the front row there. So they are proving how fast they are, but I think it's going to come down to whoever can manage their tires the best. They are good. These tires are not going to be happy by the end of this race. It's a long one on them.
And especially with no pit stops in this race, which we expect this to be the only race of the season without live pit stops. Definitely going to be an interesting one here in the Fort Worth 125K. We're under the lights and underway here at Texas. Lap 1 will go to Brandon Nelson. Bonus point towards the championship for him right there. And if he leads the most laps, he gets another bonus point. That's what he did last week at Riverside, but he didn't get the race victory. We'll have to see if that changes for him here tonight. Zidell in second. Nathan Faden third. That inside lane got a good start there. Same with Eric Monaco and Landon Smith Jr. there. And those guys on the outside lane falling back right now. I think early on in this race, the tire wear is not there, and that inside lane is the fastest way around this racetrack. You got a side-by-side battle here between Kinghart and Landon Smith Jr. We'll have to see how this goes.
Yeah, I think these guys are going to want to try to get to the inside as soon as they can. While these tires are still fresh, try to string it out a little bit so that you don't have to worry about as many guys around you, which of course will happen as this race goes on. As the battle for the lead already starting to shape up here, but also going side by side is just going to create more dirty air for the cars behind you, so just more reason to try to get it as strung out as possible.
Justin Zaidel for the race lead has not won a race in this series in 4 years. This early 2018 at Riverside, and in that race, Eric Monaco almost won it. And he's up here as well, and once again for the race lead, you got Nathan Faden to the inside for the top position. Landon Smith Jr. is coming here as well, and Brandon Nelson sliding back to 5th after he led the first 3 laps of this race. And now it's Nathan Faden out front in the 00, and Eric Monaco to the inside for 2nd on Justin Zaidel.
Yeah, there's a little bit of cycling going on for right now. Again, that's going to really diminish as time goes on here, but this track can also be a little more conducive, especially as the tires maybe get a couple laps on them for the outside to get some good runs, especially off of turn 2. So keep an eye on that. Zaidel trying to use that to his advantage to try to hold on to 3rd as best he can, but outside in turns 3 and 4 maybe not as advantageous.
And once again, another pass for the race lead. Eric Monaco on Nathan Faden, but Faden's going to try hard on that outside lane. He's not going to quite get it. I think as this run goes along, that outside lane is going to get a little bit stronger, but early on, these guys are really utilizing that inside lane to perfection. Already 4 different leaders in this race. And Eric Monaco is the 4th of those, and he's going to get a bonus point towards the championship right there. Landon Smith Jr.'s up here. Kinghart back on the inside lane, and here comes the California winner of Zachary Fitzwater. I'd watch out for Fitzwater here tonight. He did a very fine job in the California 100. And the way this style of racing is, I think it suits his style, and he could end up getting his 2nd win of the season early on here in the Haas IndyCar Series. Landon Smith Jr. to the inside of Eric Monaco as Faden's back to the inside for our 4th lead change of the night. Actually, our 5th lead change of the night, I should say. Got Landon Smith Jr. right there. Right behind him, looking for the 6th lead change of the night and the 5th different leader. But he's going to hang right behind him in that 2nd position as Faden continues to lead here at Texas.
I'm actually really impressed at how many lead changes we've seen here. I really wasn't expecting that many this early in the going, just knowing what the tire situation is. Both the guys who started on the front row have kind of dropped back. I guess I kind of jinxed them, kind of like I jinxed things earlier. AG knows all about that, but they'll definitely find their way back forward soon enough.
Well, the whole reason why this race doesn't have pit stops is because we tried to record a race with pit stops, and they kept on coming down the pit lane once the cycle began, and that is a problem this track has always had. I thought I had fixed it. Apparently, I did not, but I've been out of the loop with this game quite a bit, so, you know, I would expect to make that mistake. I think now we're starting to see that outside lane work a little bit better. Landon Smith Jr. tried to get to the inside of Nathan Faden, could not do it, and Faden continues to lead right here. Brandon Nelson fell back a little bit. He's 9th right now, but still very much in contention, I think, for this race. How about Noah Clifton there? His teammate Justin Zaidel just to his outside. Stuart Gratton's team right here doing very well here tonight. And they got Ace Garcia up here as well, who's also a pretty solid driver. One of the last Cup races that we had was at Chicagoland, another 1.5-mile racetrack, and he went to victory lane in that one. So we'll have to see if he can move himself up front in this one. Of course, no pit stops in this race, so these guys want to stay up front throughout the majority of this event if they're going to have any shot at going to victory lane. I don't know if I'd expect guys like Ethan Lewis, Reggie Fogelman, Elijah Gordon, Chris Reynolds to really have a shot in this one because it's going to take a lot to work your way from the back to the field without any pit stops here tonight. Faden's pulling away. Landon Smith Jr. kind of holding these guys up. Monaco, Kinghart, and Fitzwater the top 5 on lap 14.
And I think the guys who were toward the back, they wanted to make up those spots early so that they could be able to hold it, because as time goes on, the tires wear out. Making up that track position is going to be a hard task to do, but someone who's done it pretty well was Fitzwater, being up here in a pretty good position. I mean, you could also say that's just because, well, it's Zachary Fitzwater, but he's doing a great job looking for another move here. Use that early going to his advantage to gain spots.
Richard Kinghart, though, utilizing that outside lane to his advantage. He's going to remain in the 4th position right there. Eric Monaco still in 3rd, and they closed back in on Faden. You're kind of a bit of a sitting duck if you pull out here at Texas. The draft is very strong. And now Landon Smith Jr. is going to try to take it away, but you might see that 00 get something to work to his advantage. I don't know if Landon Smith Jr. is going to clear, but he's going to have it with the help from Eric Monaco there. And now Landon Smith Jr. up front for the first time here tonight. Monaco's going to move for 2nd, and Fitzwater might try to take 3rd away from the 00 as Kinghart falls back to 5th. So these top 5 kind of in their own little box there, and you got Zidell and Ace Garcia moving up through the field very fast, and Nelson trying to move back through the field as well. And now you got Hairgel's team right here. They're moving up, the 28 machine of Zach Winkle and the 17 of Brock Nelson moving themselves into this lead draft. Monaco and Landon Smith Jr., though, have pulled away. They're the 2 guys out front here at Texas.
I was just going to say, there's a lot of experience up here toward the front running, but I guess that just shows how much experience really plays an effect in a track like this, where tire wear is going to be high. It's very slippery, so these guys just can't hold it flat out. That's why they're getting strung out a little bit like this. And the guys who have run around the NR scene for a while are going to know a little bit more about how to handle that. And that's why you see a lot of them up toward the front.
And now you got Ace Garcia going for 5th right there, and that side-by-side really held those guys back, and now you got a 4-car breakaway. And no one is more experienced in NR than Zachary Fitzwater, so obviously, you know, he's going to be strong, and while he hasn't been that strong over in the Wawa Pro Series, he comes into this race the points leader by 5 points ahead of Jay Knapp, as we mentioned at the top of the show, and Jay Knapp is not quite take him to this style as quickly as some of the other drivers. You see him right there in the 81 machine, kind of midway through the field in the... Actually, he's not really midway through the field. He's 21st right now, so that's deep in the field for Jay Knapp. But Fitzwater on the gearbox of his teammate, Nathan Faden, right up there. And Fitzwater looking to take 3rd away from Faden in the 00. As you got Brandon Nelson moving his way back to the field after he started on the pole for this race to the inside of Ace Garcia. Fitzwater going to try to take it away right here. But they are going to be side by side off the corner. Now you're really starting to see this guy spread out. Landon Smith Jr. holding out to a pretty significant lead right now. And look at the gap he has there on Eric Monaco.
Yeah, gaining a comfortable lead there, but could that start to hurt him? Are those guys going to be able to reel him in a little bit easier now? Now that he's got a pretty big cushion there and not really any air pushing him forward or breaking in front of him, and he's breaking the air for everyone behind him. So they could start to close in on him pretty quickly.
They definitely could, and I think we're going to see that near the end of this race as well. We got Zachary Fitzwater here. He's up to 3rd. He's going to look on Eric Monaco right here for the 2nd position, but now we're at the point of the race where it is difficult to make a pass, and you really have to set it up, and that's what makes this racing very fun to watch. Fitzwater's going to try it here on Monaco, but I don't know if he's going to get it. Monaco's going to have a good run off the outside there, and now that these tires are starting to wear out, it's going to be a little bit harder to utilize that inside lane. Monaco on the outside will remain in 2nd, and Ace Garcia has been able to keep Brandon Nelson behind him, but with that, these guys are starting to close back in again. Landon Smith Jr. kind of out on his own right there, but the rest of these guys, they are all bunching back up behind the number 37 of Eric Monaco, who is going to continue to hold on to that 2nd position. That outside lane working pretty well to his advantage, and Fitzwater could not hold on, and now Faden might try to make a move on Fitzwater. And you got Ace Garcia and Brandon Nelson closing in on the gearbox of Faden here. As we close in, 1 lap to go to halfway here in the Fort Worth 125K. Fitzwater going to try again. Still quite can't get it in Monaco. He had to check up just a little bit, and Fitzwater will finally get that 2nd position, but it took him 3 laps to get it, so we're at the point where making a pass is going to be difficult here in this race. Faden there for 3rd, but Monaco's going to try that outside lane to his advantage, and he'll hold on to that 3rd position here. As we're halfway here at Texas, with Landon Smith Jr. leading the most laps so far.
I think Smith was definitely rooting for Fitzwater to stay side by side for 2nd place there. That allowed him to hold the gap that he did. And Fitzwater was not willing to work with Monaco whatsoever. But now that he's broken away and starting to close in on Smith maybe a little bit, starting to wonder if maybe Monaco maybe used up his stuff a little bit too much and is starting to feel the effects of it. Or maybe starting to conserve at this point, almost 3 wide there. But now Fitzwater is trying to close back in and doing a good job of reeling them in so far.
Absolutely. That draft is very strong. Once you get away from that slower car, and you can see it, what Fitzwater's been able to do. He's pulled away from the 00 and the 37 right here. But Fitzwater's definitely been strong this season. And he didn't have a good run initially at Riverside, but used strategy to get a top 10 there, and that's why he comes in the points leader and another win. That would make him the championship favorite this season. No doubt about it, at least early on. Of course, it's a 20-race season, so we'll still have 17 races left to go until we crown a champion, I believe in August at the Pocono Raceway. But it all starts at the beginning of the season. It's a strict points championship, so you want to get those points early on in the season. You'd have a good shot later on. They're side by side for third between Faden and Monaco. Monaco's holding on to that inside. You can see Fitzwater right on the gearbox of Landon Smith Jr. right now. We're well past halfway in this race, so it's a really quick one here tonight at the Texas Motor Speedway. Another good reason why I didn't do single car qualifying, because, you know, what's the point of spending 3 hours on a race that's only going to be 15 minutes long? Monaco's going to try here on Faden. Not going to have enough of an advantage right here, but he might be able to get to the inside. As for the race lead, Fitzwater trying to disrupt the 34 there, but he could not do it, and Smith remains out front. He actually lost a little bit of ground right there to the 34.
And Smith kind of pinched him down there a little bit, almost making contact there, but keeping it fairly clean. But Fitzwater definitely changing his mentality a little bit, was really desperate to try to get second. Has been a little bit more patient behind the leader now that he's in second by the looks of it, but or maybe that's just because he's having a harder time getting the move done now that he has a little bit less air to work with. But knowing Fitzwater, he's not going to be content to stay there for long, and he's going to try.
He is going to try again.
Here soon.
You lose the momentum like that, it takes a couple laps before you have another opportunity to make a pass, and now you got Nathan Faden closing back in here. And I wouldn't count out Brandon Nelson. You know he's kind of feeling the effects of losing that race last time out at Riverside, and he came in with a vengeance last night in qualifying, grabbed the pole for this race, and now he's going to try to get back up front and take it away from Landon Smith Jr. and all these guys ahead of him. A bit of a gap there between Nelson and Richard Cameron. Kinghart's moved himself back up to 6th, and you got Ace Garcia, Justin Zeidel, Trey Smith back inside the top 10 after winning last time out. And Thomas Chalks holding on that last top 10 run. Zeidel and Ace Garcia right there. Move back up to the front, though. This is a really close battle between Fitzwater and Landon Smith Jr. And these guys have actually fallen off a little bit there. They brought Brandon Nelson into the mix. We'll have to see if they close in on Fitzwater and Landon Smith Jr. These guys, they're not able to go wide through the corner now. And because of that, they check up just a little bit, and everyone's kind of getting different speeds. Fitzwater's going to try here. He might get it. Landon Smith Jr. really had to slide up there, and now it's going to bring in Faden. So new leader, Zachary Fitzwater, is taking it away on lap 36. Here comes Nathan Faden for second on Smith. And now Monaco also with a shot at winning this race. I know he'd love to get a race victory after what happened to him 4 years ago.
I mean, that's the thing with the inside, though, when you're side by side with somebody. If you start to push up a little bit from how worn out these tires are, you're going to have to check up really hard in order to avoid hitting the car to the outside and end up taking you both out. So that's why it's so treacherous when you're trying to make the pass, whether it's to the inside or the outside, because the outside, of course, is the longer way around. So passing is obviously proven to be a difficult challenge here. Oh, geez, that was close.
That was. These guys have controlled it fairly well tonight, and I think it's a generally easy track for them to not wreck, oddly enough, especially when they're spread out like this. But that was a little close there between Landon Smith Jr. and Zachary Fitzwater, and that's actually going to hurt Smith Jr. as he's going to lose more ground to the 66 machine. So it's looking good here for Zachary Fitzwater here tonight at Texas. He's only gone up in this race. However, he still has 14 more laps to hold on to the race lead. I don't know if anyone else is going to have a shot at this one. Kinghart's almost 2 seconds off, and these guys in the back, they've just lost the edge to the rest of the field here tonight. You got Jay Knapp in last place right now. It's Bit of a polar opposite to his teammate Nathan Faden, who's actually going for this race win. He's going to try for second here on Landon Smith Jr., but as they battle, Fitzwater's going to continue to pull away here in this race.
I can't help but feel like maybe Landon Smith and Zachary Fitzwater are not going to be the happiest with each other, because you could argue that Smith maybe pinched down the Fitzwater a little bit, and then Fitzwater kind of returned the favor in turn one there. So maybe a little bit of jockeying there, a little bit unhappy with each other, and Smith now possibly going to lose second place here. But yep, there's that pushing up on the inside there, and looks like he should be able to hold on to it for now.
Yeah, and he actually closed in. There's still a lot of grip there on that outside lane. They're just not going up there when they're single file, and if they did, I think they close right in the Fitzwater here, but we'll just have to see. It's far from over. 12, now 11 laps to go here in the Fort Worth 125K. So a quick one here tonight at Texas, but you know what? It's been a fun one. They don't need to go too much longer here before they may end up having a wreck. Of course, these guys have been racing a clean race, and the fact that they're spread out has made it a clean race. Unfortunately, we weren't able to have pit stops, but you know what? We're still going to have a good finish nonetheless. Landon Smith Jr. closed right back in on Fitzwater, and he's not going to get to the inside quite yet. Fitzwater closed the door on him, and that's going to hold up Smith just a little bit, and Faden might make a move to the inside for second.
Well, can't help but give props to Fitzwater, just with how much track position he's been able to make up. He started roughly like mid-pack, it seemed, and leading this race. 10 laps to go now. And yeah, definitely with authority closed the door on Smith there, and Smith has to be thinking, what do I need to do? Although look at this run that he just got.
That's what he needs to do. Work that outside lane and get a run off the corner. This is far from over for any of these guys. We're going to have to see if this 34 can have anything for him. I mean, these three guys have been in their respective positions for a long time. Faden, Monaco, and Nelson, they're kind of just stuck there in third, fourth, and fifth. But Landon Smith Jr. may still have a shot on Fitzwater, especially if he continues to work that outside lane off the corner. But it's not going to happen just in one lap. He's going to have to reel him in, and then he's going to have to pass him. And passing, it's a different thing than, or should I say, passing is a different thing. Catching up is a different thing than passing. That's what I meant to say. I try to say things correctly, and sometimes I don't.
Feel that.
Landon Smith Jr. not closing in here.
You go ahead.
You go ahead. Hey, you know what? Landon Smith Jr.'s got a good run here. Fitzwater kind of went low, and Smith Jr. got a run on the outside. Now, Fitzwater wins this. This is going to be his 22nd career win on the channel. Just one behind Jesse Turner, who has 23 career wins. So we'll have to see if Fitzwater can, in fact, pull that off here tonight. See if Smith Jr. though can pull it off, though. I mean, he's going to have a shot here. He's going to close right in, and he may try to make the move entering turn number one.
It seems like if Smith can get a little bit of clean air onto that front wing, that's when he has the best shot. He had a good run going into turn one there. As soon as Fitzy came down and pretty much cut off all of that air, that immediately just stalled the 34's momentum, and it kind of just happened again right there. So time's running out for the 34. Going to have to maybe try something a little more drastically different in order to pass him.
And you only have to beat him at the line, too. You don't have to clear him to win the race. So that's something you got to keep in mind. He may try to slingshot it and get him on the edge. I don't think Faden, Monaco, or Nelson are going to be a factor, but they're all going to get some good points here today. But that points lead is probably going to extend for Zachary Fitzwater heading into Circuit of the Americas next week. We got ourselves 3 laps to go here in the Fort Worth 125K. Nelson is, or should I say, Landon Smith Jr. is right there on Fitzwater. It may be a little too early. The only way Smith Jr. may win this race is if he catches him at the line. He may not be able to fully make the pass, but he could beat him at the line. But he lost a lot of ground right there. Just like you were saying, that dirty air came into effect. Now only 2 to go for Fitzwater in the number 66.
I think at this point it's Fitzwater's to lose. Smith keeps getting the run, gets a bit too close to him, and then just falls right back. It's just a vicious cycle that it seems like he's stuck in, and no real pressure from behind. So things are looking like it's going to probably be where it's at, but Fitzwater's still got to keep it clean.
Yeah, 1 lap to go. White flag in the air for the Fort Worth 125K for Zachary Fitzwater. And about 0.4 of a second there on Landon Smith Jr., and Smith's falling back. So how about this? 2 wins in 3 races, and both of the oval wins as well for Zachary Fitzwater in the number 66. It's going to come off the exit of turn 4 and get the win in the Fort Worth 125K. Fitzwater with his 22nd career win on the channel. Landon Smith Jr. was second and fading with the podium. Then Eric Monaco, Brandon Nelson, Ace Garcia, Trey Smith, Justin Zeidel, Noah Clifton, and Richard Kingard, the top 10 here tonight at the Texas Motor Speedway.
Fitzwater's done it again. That's really all you can say. One of the best in offline racing, and he brings home another one. Credit to Landon Smith. Had an incredibly fast car, but just the tires and the air just didn't work out for him there in the very end. Fitzwater just a masterclass there. I still wonder if those two might have some words for each other, just considering some of the moves that were done there. But kept it clean, kept it solid running, and we have, like I said, a 22-time winner on the channel, which is just nuts.
Not as crazy as Turner with 23 though.
Fair
but
point.
A lot of Fitzwater's wins have been in bigger races. Turner's gotten a lot of smaller wins, so you can almost make the argument Fitzwater has an advantage. But then you could put Sam Badillo into that mix as well. So it'll always be up for debate. It'll always be up for debate, especially between those 3 guys who are still currently racing. I think they have the chance to really expand that throughout this year on the rest of those drivers. But Fitzwater, another win on an oval. And he's going to be a hard driver to beat. That's a win for Davey Johnson as an owner as well. So congratulations to him on that. Landon Smith Jr., Nathan Faden, Eric Monaco, and Brandon Nelson, the top 5. The guy who came in this race second in points, finished dead last, Jay Knapp. So Knapp's going to fall back, but Fitzwater is going to really pull ahead. Now, Brandon Nelson isn't going to be too far off, as he finished 5th in this race, but Fitzwater the early favorite in terms of this championship. There are no double points races this season, though, so that's something to also consider. But 17 races left to go. Do you think Fitzwater will be able to keep that momentum throughout the season, or do you think at some point throughout this year he might lose it and that championship battle may go to someone else?
Well, it's like you said, he's 2 for 2 on the oval so far, but finished outside the top 5 at the road course race. So he's got to be able to just keep it up on those road courses to keep up some solid momentum in order to keep building on what he's starting with. A lot of times I've seen it where guys will start off really hot and then just fall off a cliff, or even just kind of fade back a little bit, just kind of lose that momentum as the other guys start to climb back up. So as long as Fitzwater can keep his momentum on the ovals and try to translate that to the road courses, which again, someone like him should be able, I would expect would be able to do, then I think that he would be in good shape.
We'll have to see what they do next week, though, because they're going to a place that we've never gone to before. I've never seen anyone go to this place before in NR, but we're going to try it. Circuit of the Americas next weekend. That'll be an interesting race because it's going to play out a lot like Riverside, where it's difficult to pass, and the cycle of pit stops will determine the race winner. We'll have to see if, that first race at Riverside will come into the minds of guys like Fitzwater and Nelson, who had advantages and disadvantages in that one, but we'll just have to see. And to your point, Justin Zeidel, when he won his 2019 championship, he won, or actually, should I say, finished second in the first 3 races of the season and kept that momentum the entire season. Didn't lead in the points the entire season, but he did end up winning the championship. So it might be the kind of thing once we get to the summer, Fitzwater may be second or third in points, but just find the momentum near the end of the season. He could find his way back to the top. He's Zachary Fitzwater. I don't know if he's ever won a championship on my channel before. This may be the year. We'll just have to see. Thank you guys so much for watching. Huge thanks to Andrew for joining me and hanging with me through all the technical difficulties of getting this race up and recorded. Thank you so much, my man, and hopefully we'll have Micah again next week at Circuit of the Americas. That should be a fun one there, just down the road in Austin, Texas. Thank you guys so much for watching. Congratulations, Zachary Fitzwater, and here are the points for the Haas IndyCar Series after 3 races. I will see you guys later.